In their tongue, he's Dovahkiin, Dragonborn.
What's going on YouTube? This is Hero Stormwolf and welcome back to another weekly Skyrim mods video. This one's going to be a little bit different because I'm only going to be focusing on one mod, and it's a mod that probably a lot of people know by now. It is the Uchiha Clan Mod. The reason I'm focusing on this one mod is because a lot of people have been having questions and issues with it, so I'm going to address the updates to it first, and then I'm going to cover along the way some of the issues that have been coming up recently within the comments about this mod. So the first update change is the general naming. A lot of the names have been changed from the English to the Japanese translation. So for example, the fireball jutsu is now the Katon Gokuyu no Jutsu. I'm pronouncing that wrong, but you get what I'm saying. A lot of these spells have been changed to the jutsu counterparts because a good majority of them was the Japanese naming of it anyway, so the author just pretty much converted all of the rest of the English to the Japanese translation. So that's one minor issue, or not minor issue, but one minor tweak to it. One of the major tweaks, and this actually ties into one of the first issues that a lot of people have been having with this mod, is the Mangekyo Sharingan Awakening. So in previous versions, you would just need to go on a murdering spree and kill a certain amount of people. With this update that has now been changed, it's no longer just you going out and murdering people. At a certain point, you need to actually kill someone that is very close to you in terms of Skyrim close, such as a wife, a friend, or a companion. So I've already done it, but you can actually have, if you have the mod configuration menu, you can actually check and see if you have or not. And where it says Mangekyo, or not Mangekyo Sharingan, go to the miscellaneous, and if you see at the bottom, it says amount of people killed, and have you killed or seen a close friend die. So what that means is, if you have a companion in battle and you decide to kill him, or that companion dies and you see them die, you can actually unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan now. That's how that quest works. It's no longer just you going out and murdering people. You actually have to see someone die, which is a very nice change. I actually like that a lot. It's actually very close to how you would obtain the Mangekyo Sharingan. So for those who have been asking about that, is why can I activate it? Why can I find it? How do I do it? This is how you do it. You have to kill or see a close friend die within Skyrim. So that's one of the major issues. Another one is that whenever I try and do something, it's not doing it like you've been done. By that, like, I know that's kind of a brief description, but like, for example, we'll take the Mangekyo Sharingan. That is because you probably don't have the most recent, or you download the most recent version, and the video to where you ask that question is probably a older version of the mod. I would say always check and see what version is available and download that version, and also check the changelog, because that's where a lot of things are going to be listed as to bug fixes, or if something's changed from one version to another. So that's one of the main issues that a lot of people have been having. One of the new changes is the Susanoo and how that actually works now. So if you choose Madara's path and you have the Rinnegan, you can actually use the perfect Susanoo, and the perfect Susanoo is like it says. Right now I'm not in his path, I chose another path, so let me go ahead and switch over to Madara's path and I'll show the perfect Susanoo. Okay, so this is his perfect Susanoo. Yes, your character is going to be changed naked when you first transform into it, so. But this is what his perfect Susanoo looks like. Pretty much a full suit of samurai armor, which is very close to what you can get within the terms of the Skyrim engine. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, why is he using a two-handed sword? He has twin blades. That's actually a very good question. It actually ties into the next change in the mod itself. So let me rechange here. So the reason is the why I had the two-handed sword instead of the dual blades is another change that has been made. Each Susanoo level 3 and Madara's perfect Susanoo actually has two forms now. So if you go to the Uchiha Clan, go to the Mangekyo Sharingan, you'll see listed under Susanoo is the Susanoo mode change hotkey. And because I'm using a controller right now, my hotkey is set to the back button. What that is you now have a melee stance and a range stance. So, his regular melee stance in his perfect Susanoo is a great sword. Shoots off a shockwave. Now, if I use the back button, you'll see now I have the twin blades. This is my melee stance. Every person who has the Susanoo level 3 can actually use this change flip, or use this change stance. I'll show off each one. Madara, his perfect, or I can show off his level 3 as well. His perfect and his level 3 are actually very similar, but since I'm already transformed to him, I'll show it off now. So, this is his regular stance. Press the back button. He can shoot magic. So, I'll show off Itachi's and what his stance change is. And before I actually forget to show this off, in the Susanoo's characteristics, you can actually see what each character's melee and range mode is. For Itachi, his melee mode is the sword and shield. His sword does soul trap. His shield actually stores energy of blocked attacks. If you use a power bash, it will release that stored energy. His range mode, he has the Yasuka Magatama, and I probably pronounced that wrong. Again, I apologize for not pronouncing it wrong, but we have to wait a few seconds. There we go. So again, his level 3 is the sword and shield. But if you change to range mode, he still has the sword. But like Madara, that's what he does. He can actually shoot the scrolls out of his right hand. Now I don't know if it's exactly 10. I actually can test that out right now. Yes, so you only have 10 shots, so once you use the 10 shots, or the 10 scrolls, you can no longer use it anymore. And so once you wasted those shots, you actually can't go back into range mode. So that's something you need to be aware of, so use those 10 shots wisely. No, Sasuke is a little bit different because he's actually a range character first when it comes to a Susanoo. He actually uses range first, so his range mode, of course, is the Susanoo bow, 60 base damage. His arrows increase his speed, has gravity on, or has less gravity on them, so they travel a lot farther. Has an extra 45 base damage, and enemies caught within the blast of the arrow actually is ignited with black flames. So for about 10 seconds, they'll have 20 damage per second, so it'll pretty much almost kill a lot of the base enemies in about 1 or 2 shots. His melee mode is the Susanoo one-handed sword and the Amaterasu flames, which does 25 damage and causes staggering. So it sounds a little weird when I say it out loud, but I'll show you now.
No one else ever has any to say.
So See? That's his arrows. One thing I wish you can do is you can actually go into first person while using the Susanoo. Because it's a little hard to aim sometimes. I mean, granted, they have changed to where it's closer to wherever the crosshairs is, but it's just kind of hard to aim in third person with the huge body in front of you while you're in third person mode. So So you have to really compensate your aim for it. But whenever you switch to melee mode, he actually pulls out the sword, and in his right hand he actually shoots out black flames. Now again, you have to compensate your aim because of how big the body is. So it's a little hard to get down. But, well, I hit my companion with it, so she's probably gonna die, honestly. But nevertheless, that's just to show off that each Susanoo level 3 actually has a stance change now, so that's actually a really cool addition as well. I like that a lot. It keeps the Susanoo from being, I don't want to say bland, because I know a lot of work actually went into it. It just gives you a lot more variety and options while using that form, so they don't all feel the same. So 2 other changes have been made as well. One of them is the demonic illusions. I showed this off in the previous Uchiha Clan episode, which I done, or one of the previous weekly Skyrim mods. So, in the last change to it, or not the last change, when it first came out, it will scare allies and enemies away from you. That has been fixed to where only enemies will now run away from you. So, the initial will still stagger anyone around you, but as you see, she no longer runs away. Now, if we used to summon some bandits here, we'll summon 4 here. These are not bandits, but they'll work the same way. As you see, they still run away from you. Now, in that same previous episode where I showed off the demonic illusion, I actually said that there might have been a bug with the slow. That's actually intentional. That's just to make sure that the jutsu or the power isn't too powerful to where you'll scare them off and you can chase them down and kill them. I believe this is just more used as an escape tool more than a combat initiator. So use that as it is, as more of a, okay, I need to escape from combat. I can't fight anymore. Of course, you can still get hit by magic, so just be aware of that. To where they will run away from you, but if they have ranged abilities, they'll still use them on you. So there you go. Another change that has been made, which is actually part of Sasuke's, Itachi's, and Shisui's path, is the Thetsukiyomi. This has an interesting change to it, and I actually had issues with it while going over this. No longer will it use an area of effect type of thing to stun enemies. It only works when there's a target in front of you. And I like this change because it's actually reminiscent to what exactly the Tsukiyomi is. But there's been a few issues with it to where it will not work even though the enemy's right in front of me. So I think that's because of how Skyrim's hitboxes and stuff work. So I'll show off an example of what I mean. We'll summon a different bandit here. We'll summon just one. So, originally, whenever you would activate the Tsukiyomi, it would just stun the target right off the bat. But with Itachi and Sasuke, it no longer stuns the enemy. What it does, it slows them down. But, as you can see, there's really not anything showing that he's been slowed down. And as you can see, sometimes it doesn't even work downright. So that's one of the issues I've had with the Tsukiyomi with this change. Again, I think it's because of how exactly Skyrim's hitboxes is and what it is considered in front of you. So I've actually had a lot of issues with the Tsukiyomi. And I'll switch to Shishui's path so you can actually see it actually stun. And actually, before I switch to Shishui's path, excuse me, there's actually been another change to it. Is you can actually choose Nagato's path, which is if you only want to use the Rinnegan abilities, such as the Bansho Tennen, the Chibako Tensei, etc., etc., you can actually choose his path, and you'll only use the Rinnegan abilities, along, of course, with some of the minor Sharingan abilities like the Detect Life and stuff like that. So I won't go into it because it's still the same abilities. It's just now they've been separated from the actual Rinnegan path itself. It's now its own class, if you will.
I really miss my sisters from the temple. Lily used to sing.
So again, with the back to the Tsukiyomi, Shisui is the only one that can actually stun now with it. So he's the only one that actually causes a stun or a paralyzed effect. But again, the same problem arises to where
if you know any true sons and daughters of Skyrim, tell them that.
See, it still doesn't work properly. And I believe that's just an issue with how Skyrim detects hitboxes and things like that. So, if the author does watch this video, it may be just me myself, but it seems like the change to the Tsukiyomi actually makes it a little bit harder to hit. Even in first person mode where I can look directly at the person I want to use it against. It doesn't stun them or it doesn't slow them down. So, I don't know if that's just me or if that's just a bug in the mod itself, but that's something that I've had an issue with. Okay. As far as everything else goes, they are more or less minor changes. For example, the Izanagi has now been fixed to where the clone can't be killed during its initial summoning phase. And for those who don't know what the Izanagi is, whenever you die and you have the Izanagi activated, which is a passive skill, whenever you have it activated, if you die, a clone will actually take your place, and it will take a lot of attacks for a certain amount of time to allow you to either to escape, heal up, recuperate, or if you need to kill. Now, that's actually been fixed to where early on, whenever the clone would actually come out, it would die very quickly. So it was still useful in some situations, but it wouldn't allow you to escape or to turn the tide of battle into your favor. As I said before, there's a new Rinnegan path that it actually needs to be tested. So if you have any issues with that itself, I urge you to report that. The amount of spells because of this new path that Toby and Madara can use from the Rinnegan has actually been reduced, so you can't use everything now from it. You can actually use only certain abilities. Sasuke's Rinnegan has been removed for now. The author says that there probably may be an additional plugin, not sure, but he will still keep the. If he does have the plugin, he'll keep the Sharingan powers with the Rinnegan like Toby would. But as of now, he cannot obtain the Rinnegan according to the change log here. Okay, so as I said earlier, there's a lot of other minor changes. I'll go through the list of them here. For example, the Muton Deep Forest Emergence has a new visual effect. It no longer shoots out tentacles. What it does is you aim it towards the enemy, you hit them, and they'll be tangled up within it. The Rinnegan removes soul, makes targets 40% slower. The Endo Tensei and the permanent Mangekyo Sharingan fixes the issue to where your eyes return to normal. The gunby animations have been changed to where it fits more of a great axe. The body flicker technique, it changes from 40 to 45 meters. One of the other, I guess you could say this is more of a minor change than a major change than a minor tweak, is the Izanagi. The way this works now, it still has the initial, if you die once while you have it activated as a passive power, you will summon a target. And this happens with the hair thing, excuse this. But whenever you use the Izanagi, you will still summon the clone. He will still come out, but instead of it dying very easily, it's now invincible during its initial summoning. It has a longer invincibility period to where it won't die so easily, so that way you can get the most use out of it. I'm gonna kill this bear because it's annoying me. But whenever you use the Izanagi, it will still have the effect of it summons out, it takes a few hits, but it can just take more hits and allow you to escape or turn the tide of battle your way. Other than that, everything else is just minor changes. The Amaterasu Stage 1 has been sort of reworked to more of its initial state. Level 1 is an aim burst, level 2 is more like a concentration spell, level 3 has been unchanged to where it's a mass area of effect. So nothing has been changed in terms of that. If you want to read some of the other minor tweaks, I urge you to read the changelog. That's something I urge everyone to do whenever you see a new version, or even if you want to use the previous version. Go to the changelog and just read down the list of changes. Sometimes that will answer any of the questions you have or some of the issues that you have. So that's it for this week in Skyrim mods. Again, the reason I wanted to focus on this particular mod itself is because a lot of people that have watched previous videos where I showed off this mod have had a lot of questions, and most likely they downloaded the newest version, and I haven't had a chance to cover that newest version, which is what I was doing right now. So again, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them, but I always urge you to read the change logs or to post any of the problems, such if you have crash issues and stuff like that. Post them to the forums and explain what exactly happened, so that way they can be fixed, they can be noticed, stuff like that. Because at most I showcase the mods and I have very limited knowledge of the mods themselves in terms of how to fix them. I only have general knowledge of modding myself, so a lot of these issues I probably can't help you with. I can probably direct you towards the right path, but it's always better first to ask the forums, because that's where you can catch up with the author of the mod itself, and he can actually help you more than I can. So yeah, that will be it for the update for the Uchiha Clan. Right now is in version 1.17. As soon as any major changes come to this mod, you know I will always cover it. So if you're interested in that, be sure to subscribe, like the video, stuff like that, and all that, you know, YouTube crap. And I'll catch you guys next week. Peace.